Teacher quality is one of the top subjects being debated today, with solutions proposed ranging from merit pay to getting rid of tenure. What position do you think the Board of Education should take in regards to performance-based pay for individual teachers, not bonuses, and how would you advocate for your position with your colleagues on the board? Proudfoot.
As a candidate, I do know what it's like to be a teacher. I know how many outside factors go into performance of our students. I also believe in accountability, and we need to hold our teachers, all educators, up to high standards for our students. But it's about how do we measure success? Do we use one score, such as the MSA? Well, my school did not make AYP last year, which is adequate yearly progress. We missed it by one student in the special education subgroup in reading. We made it the year before. I know how it feels firsthand to have a school labeled as unsuccessful based on one measurement. So we need to look at multiple measures, multiple data points. We need to look at growth within that year that the teacher has control over. And it's a lot of times students have multiple teachers. So how are we going to factor that in when we have a team of educators working with one student, especially if they are receiving supplemental services?
Leslie. Yes.
Oh, thank you. I also was a teacher. I taught for several years before my children were born. I've been a substitute teacher in the Howard County Public School System. And as we figure out what the criteria are going to be for assessing our teachers, I definitely think, you know, it's got to be a team effort. It's got to be based on multiple measures and input from all kinds of parties, principals, principals, other teachers. As for the merit pay question, whether we should pay for performance, I have to come out against that. One of the things as a teacher myself that I found to be my greatest resource was the other teachers on my team. And I never wanted to feel a sense of a competition with them. It was always a sense of camaraderie and how can we make each other better.
Thank you. Robert?
First of all, I've been very fortunate where I've been able to sit down and meet with teachers. And a lot of teachers have concern about this. It's talked about. Each school has different variables, from the economic climate that school is in, to its location in Howard County and what's also being offered. I'd be the first person to say that we cannot and will not, if I'm elected to the school board, use standardized test scores as the mean way of evaluating our teachers. I think we need to make sure that parents, administration, teachers, co-teachers are involved in the process. I also think a little different than what some people said here. I think we should reward teachers for taking on challenges. And if I was on the school board, one of the things that I would encourage is that let's give incentive, or what I would call reward pay, for teachers who will take on the challenges at our underachieving schools to make sure that they can meet the same quality standards that all our schools do. I would encourage teachers to do it and pay them for their successes. And I feel very strongly in that.
Oh, thank you. Larry?
I would listen. I think it's important to listen to the educators. It's important to listen to parents. It's important to listen to our community leaders and our business owners. It's important to listen to everyone involved in the process, because every one of us have ideas on what we would like to see. My wife is a teacher in her 24th year. I know what it's like to live in a house with a teacher who gives so much. But I like Bob. I think it's important for us to consider providing incentives for teachers who desire to go and work in some of our schools that have greater diversity and greater challenges. I'm not sure what the answer is, but I think it's going to come from listening, reading, and working with other board members who are also acquiring information to come up with some great ideas.
Thank you. Brian?
You know, each one of us in the room as parents are the primary educator of our kids. And I would be scared to death if I got performance pay on my job as a parent. Because sometimes I feel like I'm just not doing as much as I need to be doing for them. And so I kind of come at it from that perspective when I look at it and I say, well, what is the performance we're paying on? What is the success that we're defining? Sure isn't standardized tests, because there isn't any one study that correlates standardized tests with academic performance success or graduate success afterwards. And so it definitely can't be that. But I think that we need to have a system that rewards teachers that are doing a great job, some type of bonus system. I think that would be great. At the end of the day, I come at it not only as a parent, but I come at it as a business person. Over 80% of our operating budget goes to people. We are in the people business. We teach people, we grow people, we empower people to make a difference in people's lives. And so we need to look at ways that we can get the most out of our people. And I think that's going to involve investments. It probably is going to involve some incentives. And hopefully as a board member, I would bring that business perspective to the table.
Thank you, Brian. Sandy?
First of all, we hire the best, and then we support them. The core curriculum standards that were just approved by the State Board of Education are non-negotiable. I just learned at a workshop on Friday at our MAID conference. If you looked at Sunday's employee section of the Sun, you will see a full half-page advertisement for contractual employees to work at the State Department. They're in a panic. They have to meet these federal mandates. They have to get the curriculum written. And when that curriculum is written, our teachers are going to have massive staff development training because of a shifting of a lot of the math standards or English standards from one grade level to another. Pay for performance, our teachers are performing all the time, and they're probably even grading papers right now. I don't think that pay for performance will make them try any harder. What they want are the tools to do the job the way they really want to do them. And they want the time in order to teach what they need to teach.
Thank you. Frank?
I'll get the important stuff out first. Merit pay, no. Performance-based pay, no. Our teachers take on challenges every single day in every single school. No one school is particularly harder than others. I like what Mrs. French said about providing them the support that they need, and we try to hire the best. I've been quoted on this once before as far as teacher evaluations. I'd love to see a perfect teacher evaluation system. I'm just not sure we're ever going to get there. I'm just not sure we can come up with a fair, non-biased way of gauging what goes on in every classroom every single minute of the day. We've got to trust our teachers, and as a spouse of a woman who's put 22 years into public service in a low-paying job, dangling a $1,500 or $3,000 bonus at the end of the year for satisfying 50, 60% of her clients, it's just not worth it.
Okay, thank you. Cindy?
I would say merit pay, no, not in the context of what we normally think of it as. It's very popular right now to say we should use market type incentives for teachers, but there are a lot of employee groups in the market that are, I'll use the example of pilots union. This is a group of people who are all doing essentially the same job. They have a contract. The reward for doing their job well is they get to keep their job. And I think that the idea of tenure, it's the same thing with any other contract. After you've gone through your probationary time, you can still be fired. You just have to, people have to treat you like they would any other employee with respect and have a nice long evaluation process that takes everybody's rights into account. So I don't have a problem with tenure. I have a problem with not having the will to get rid of bad teachers.